rather than just present information about PubNub, which is available on our website, I decided to tackle one of the biggest challenges we hear talked about quite a bit, but very few solutions presented when you come to IoT conferences such as this. And that is all involving security for IoT. Many people raise it as a challenge, as a struggle, but very few people actually present solutions. And so what we did is talk about the 10 challenges of security in embedded devices, in IoT specifically, and then how to solve those challenges. And specifically what we talked about was taking security as much as possible off the device and putting it up in the network. Because as we know, we can barely secure our corporate firewalls, our VPNs, our big server environments. There's a $70 billion industry that exists to secure our more traditional online resources. To think that we'll ever be able to secure individual devices spread across the internet is a fool's game. And so rather than trying to create secure devices and put all the security down at the device level, we talked about the 10 challenges that exist in IoT around security, and then how to take that security challenge off the device up into the network, where PubNub, for example, provides a data stream network to solve some of those challenges, but others do as well. So this wasn't just about PubNub, but generally provided some thoughts about how to think about security and how to take those thoughts and apply them to all of the different verticals that are existing today in IoT. So I think terms like M2M and IoT are really helpful for analysts trying to define this space and to try to create an umbrella around it to define market size. But really we're talking about a number of industries that have existed in some cases for decades. Whether it's M2M, IoT, embedded devices, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, there are some fundamental things changing, which is why we're talking about this a lot more than we were a couple of years ago. Those things that are changing is the fact that it's now cost effective to put embedded devices on the internet. Right, where it used to cost $200, down to $50. Companies like Atmel are now selling a chip under $5 that have a full Wi-Fi stack on it. So over the next couple of years, we're going to see the ability to put every light bulb, every device on the internet. And then of course the question is, that's great, what do we do with all that information, and do we really care? And obviously we do. There are many industries where that becomes not only important, but imperative in some cases for everything from energy savings to consumer just facilitation of lifestyle, to connected cars, all of these different industries where we can take that inexpensive way to connect all these devices to the internet and do interesting things with the data and with the consumer and business experience with those devices. And of course, by doing all of this, it raises a huge number of challenges and creates opportunities for companies like PubNub and thousands of other potential companies to come in and solve those challenges that are going to exist in this space. I mean, there's almost a countless number of vertical potentials within IoT. What we're seeing is an evolution of we call them Generation 0, Generation 1, Generation 2 projects. And we're sort of seeing these industries move. Generation 0 is how I define IoT projects that failed. They just didn't work. Generation 1 are ones that do work, but they're custom built from the top to the bottom. A lot of SIs who come in and build them and spend quite a bit of money. Generation 2, where we're now starting to understand and define the IoT stack and be able to come to market more quickly with solutions that work, that don't involve customization from the hardware and the software and the network layer. And those are the industries that I'm focused on the most because I believe that's where the most innovation is happening and the fastest evolution of products. So if I go to that Generation 2, understanding and playing within an existing IoT stack and helping to define that stack, we are seeing a lot of movement in the home automation space. I mean, led by smart home space, led by the excitement around the Nest acquisition and more recently Dropcam. But there are a lot of other very innovative companies like Insteon doing things in that space around real-time connectivity, and Logitech and Vivint and Revolve, who was also recently acquired by Google. So that's an interesting one that's really being driven quickly into that Generation 2 well-known IoT stack. Connected car, or generally transportation and dispatch, is another one that's moving into that realm. I think driven by companies like Lyft and Get Taxi, Sidecar, Uber Cab, ones that are actually now driving consumer innovation. They don't want to build from top to bottom, and so they're looking at how do we leverage elements of the stack. Consumer electronics is just starting to move into that. Well, I think there's amazing things happening in a lot of other industries, irrigation, oil and gas farming, those kinds of things. More traditional, we call sort of very infrastructure-based for industries. Many of them are still in the Generation 1 custom top to bottom. And we hope in the next year to see a lot of those move into a more Generation 2, picking and choosing elements of the stack and getting more quickly to market. So that's our quick take on the market. So being here at the IoT World Forum 2014 has been a great experience. I think the collection of attendees has been very high caliber, and in fact I've probably had more interesting follow-on conversations from the presentation that I've given and from the presentations I've seen than any of the conferences I've been to so far. There seems to be a lot of thought leaders here. And more than that, people are actually doing interesting, innovative projects in IoT right now, and so that's an exciting group of people that's fun to be part of.